he came back out, man, and he stormed out to just everybody in the whole shop that day. And he said, "Do you eat corn?" And he come up to me and asked me if I ate corn. I said, "No, hell no, I don't eat no corn, man." I said, "Indians don't eat corn, man." To let everybody know
the Indian deal,
back.
everybody was a cheering and a hollering.
What about the time you had to cut well, you didn't have to, but the time you cut the top off of Jeff Gordon's car?
Yeah, we went to Daytona to test. I was probably first year Jeff Gordon was there, Ray. It seemed like the car, I can't remember if it was painted or not, but Bob Newling, I was with him, and we went down there. That's when we took the English wheel and the whole half the fab shop down there of all the stuff to go down, and went down there. Sheet metal, had extra fenders, all kinds of crazy stuff going down there. We were down there for like about a week trying to get that car tuned in, and Ray didn't happen to look at the roof one day in the garage area and didn't like the way it looked, and he brought it to our attention that he wanted to cut the roof off of it, and we're like, "Cut the roof off of it at Daytona? What are you smoking?"
Make it convertible.
So anyway, yeah, that's the first thing I thought about was back in the convertible NASCAR racing years,
right. Yeah.
And that's kind of what it looked like when Jeff Gordon got back from taking off with Ray, and me and Bob started cutting C posts, B posts, A posts, everything off, and had the whole roof set off in the garage area, and it wasn't nothing but roll cage and the roll bar padding. Yeah. And so Ray took Jeff off for a couple hours and brought him back in the golf cart. And when he got back, he seen his car didn't have a roof on it, and the roof was sitting off the side in the garage area. And Jeff just seemed like, I ain't gonna say that he was crying, but I
was in shock.
Thought I seen a tear or two.
He was in shock.
It took us all day to get that roof back on that thing, and seemed like after we got it on, it went a little slower. And then we had to make some attitude adjustments on it, and finally got it back to speed and got it a little bit faster. And then I think we buttoned it back up after we got back up to the shop. I mean, we just had it on there enough where it wouldn't fly off on the racetrack, because we was down there for a whole week, and that's hard to weld something up like that at the racetrack have it all tore up all cut apart like that. But it was pretty tore up.
And I
didn't have a whole lot of faith in it, but we finally got it all together, and we run it all that week. It got up to speed, and next thing I knew, got it all fixed back up when we got back to the shop. Made some paper templates, how we used to, make patterns and stuff, Figured out where we needed to be at, and put all new stuff back on it, and ended up back in the body shop just a little bit later. It was that rainbow colored blue and all them other fancy colors that was on it. That's when all the paint job, the paint job was a paint job, not a wrap. Yeah, not a wrap.
Well, speaking of back in the shop, how about the beef stew in the bathroom deal?
Oh, yeah.
In the corner.
that was a whole separate. I was working at a different team, and there was a guy that used to go in the bathroom every morning. He was like clockwork, and so we knew they would go in that stall. That was his favorite stall. So one day, before that, we decided we'd get a can of beef stew and an extra can of corn. So we didn't actually do anything in there other than we just poured the can of beef stew and the extra can of corn in there and threw a little toilet paper around it and made it look like
he'd went.
It was a massacre.
Oh, yeah.
Some kind of a massacre. Yeah. And so he went in there, and I guess he was committed by that time. I mean, he was like clockwork, so he was committed. And he came back out, man, and he stormed out to just everybody in the whole shop that day. And he said, "Do you eat corn?" And he come up to me and asked me if I ate corn. I said, "No, hell no, I don't eat no corn, man. You can't digest it."
He's looking for the
He
perpetrator.
was looking for the culprit, perpetrator
Yeah.
of that massacre. But all it was just
yeah.
a can of beef stew.
Uh-huh.
And,
What'd you tell him? Indians don't eat corn?
yeah, I said, Indians don't eat corn, man. We eat tortillas, corn tortillas. I eat my corn. Anyway, Sarge had one too about
Yeah.
sometimes when I'd come in the shop, just every now and then. Not very often.
We, Julio, Robert had left Hendrick Motorsports. I think he went to Stavolo Brothers.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
did for a
and then he
little bit.
worked over there for a while, and then he come back to Hendricks, and then one day he was bringing his toolbox in. Of course, I used to get on the intercom all the time, and always doing something stupid on the intercom. But anyway, so Robert come in the door. And when I seen him, I started giving him the old Indian deal. I was going, hoya, 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 hoya.
To let
I was
everybody
doing the
know I
Indian
was
deal.
back.
Everybody was a cheering and a hollering. And at the same time, when I was doing that, Mr. Hendrick come walking in the door.
no.
Hey, who was them sponsors he had? They was foreigners or something.
Right.
But
I remember.
he come walking in there. They come all walking in there, and it was. I was trying to think of who them guys
Well, I
was,
can't remember
but they was
who it
all in
was, but they
suits
were
and
all,
ties.
yeah, slicked
and
up.
they was Asian guys, you know.
I remember seeing. I worked at a dealership across the street from City Chevrolet, and I remember seeing him driving around in his big Suburban with the Asians in their all in
Right.
their suits and stuff.
Yeah.
Around 90, probably around 93, thereabouts, 94.
Anyway, yeah, they was. They come in there, and of course, I think Eddie Dickerson told me he was in charge of our shop, and I think Rick told him a couple of times. We was acted like a bunch of outlaws.
Oh,
But anyway,
Yes.
I don't know. But
that's good stuff.
you know, that was
And
that was
one
good
time-
time. But he never he just he was pretty cool about it.
Oh, yeah.
Long as you got your work done and I got all the cars on
Them
time.
cars
and
were
this and
heading
that,
out the door.
That was the main thing.
Yeah, that was just
And
to
if-
make it to the show.
And a lot of guys, if they had to, they'd work around the clock. They really would. The
work.
fabricators would work, because if we had a wrecked car, that one of the drivers was his favorite car, and they say, "Oh no, we got to repair his favorite car. We got to take it to Daytona or something." And then we'd work around the clock.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about it.
Was that about the same time as the Billy Bob Teeth?
Oh yeah, that was when I went to. Where did I go? I went to
I can't remember how you
Myrtle
found-
Beach.
It might have been, and that was when you first seen him, and you got the information, and when you got back, we all were buying those
Yeah.
teeth. Sarge was ordering them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
And
I
we
went,
would wear them. It had like
Me and
some kind of stuff to make the
They would blend in.
Like a
where you-
polydent.
Yeah, like a polydent type
Oh.
helmet. It had
Adhesive.
a mixture in it, so once you stuck it to your teeth, like in about a
Stayed.
minute, it would form to them. So every time you took them out, they'd
Yeah.
go back the same
Okay.
way.
Right.
So
Right.
it could
Yes.
stay in. You could still talk.
yeah,
with
me
them.
and my wife Sandy, and we might have took her boys with us. In.
Oh, I had some with gold teeth.
And we had I went there and bought some of them, and come back, and I was wearing them, and then everybody else was wanting them, so we had to get
Oh,
some
yeah.
more for everybody in the shop, and it was quite a deal.
Had
It
them
was always
things-
something.
I had them things coming in left and right
Of course,
every day.
of course, Billy Bob teeth was a big deal back then.
Yeah, back then
Yeah,
it
they were.
was.
Yeah.
I remember I had mine on one day, and I stopped some guy at the red light, just being funny, trying to be funny, and I didn't. The guy was looking straight ahead, and I got his attention, and I had them Billy Bob teeth in. I said, "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me where Sycamore Street is?" And he looked at me, and his teeth looked just like them Billy Bob teeth that I had. He said, "It's right down the street."
He said, "What's up, cousin?"
So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. How's that paper looking at me?
What about the green blonde toupee at Dover?
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Dover.
Johnny Dover. Yeah.
Johnny
Looked like-
Rover.
He had gotten this toupee, and I don't remember how it went down. Sarge probably knows more about it. Can recall it more than I can. I just remember when he showed up with it, and it wasn't blonde.
It
was
had a green
kinda
tint.
Green tint. It had a green tint to it.
Had a green tint to it. And he was wearing. Johnny was working on the bottom working on the chassis or something, and he wore that thing for a couple of 2 or 3 weeks, I think, before he finally fell off of him. He was underneath the car, and that green and his toupee fell off of his head.
Oh.
He got so mad he got up and threw that thing off to the side or kicked it off to the side, and I don't think he wore it again.
No, but before that happened, he was looking pretty dapper with it on.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
is
was. Yeah, he was looking. Yeah.
You know, it'd be funny if that went along with the same story. The guy that shot the gun in the shot, he shot the toupee.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that would be
blood
good.
a hole in the blood a hole. In it. So just completely
Yeah.
just tore it all to crap.
There's some other stuff in the top that was some funny
yeah,
stuff.
we did. I can't think of all of it.
Do you
I mean,
remember Bruce Hayes?
Remember the name?
Yeah, Bruce. Yeah,
Bruce was just
Bruce?
Bruce was just he used to work over at the Quaker State team.
That's a different one,
Bernstein's team. He was a paint body guy back when I remember him over there, and then he come
Okay.
over to Hendrick
Yeah.
to work with us. He was a good dude.
He was another character.
Yeah.
We called him Rooster.
Yeah, we come, and that was another story too. Remember back when it was 24 and the 20 and the 5 shop every week. I mean, Jeff had he won the championship in '95, and then in '96, Terry was driving the Kellogg's car.
Yeah.
So every time the 5 car would
When
win the pole or
Yeah.
beat the 24 car, Bruce would play that song "Here Comes the Rooster"
yeah.
over the intercom.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
And
we
it
had
tore
stuff
them
like that.
boys up.
Oh, the
man.
20
They got mad about
Ray
that. man.
Ray laughed about it. He thought it was
Yeah,
funny,
I mean, but
them
some of them got tore
but
up.
them didn't like that
Oh,
at
they
all.
got
It was
torqued
funny
up over
though.
that. But because every weekend, I mean, sometimes Jeff would beat them, and nothing would be. You wouldn't hear much of anything. We just knew he was going to do all right. But Terry was doing good that year, '96 when he
Yeah.
won the championship.
What about the lobster? Speaking of lobster carcass and air cleaner and sardines, lobsters and sardines.
Yeah, the lobster deal and a sardine deal. It was our old buddy Gary Scott, the Honorable Gary Scott.
Okay.
I had something, I can't remember how it was, but it was really funny what I had one time on the wall, something about I had a little piece of paper and it had some guy's, he was some kind of a artist or something that, he's a poet, and I put his name out and I put Gary Scott's name there. And I remember Ken Howes come to the shop, come down there one day, and he looked at that on the wall.
Yeah.
He just shook his head, turned around, and laughed. But anyway, Gary, he was quite a guy. I used to bring in mustard sardines, and we'd put them in his toolbox.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, and about 3 days later, because a lot of guys didn't get in their toolboxes, they had a little cart they had their stuff on.
Right.
And about 3 or 4 days later, that daggone toolbox would be stinking, really be stinking.
I bet.
He'd go over there and everybody be hollering, Gary, get them sardines out of that toolbox. He said them things are stinking up the shop, and he'd go over there and take them, throw them on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
he'd
And then-
get tore up.
Yeah.
He was the same guy
Yeah.
that I was telling you about, the Randy Stewart. You remember Randy Stewart?
Yeah.
Gary had just bought a 5-inch grinder. And he slung him, and he got her going, and got air hooked up to it and everything. And he slung him. He was grinding with it for the very first time, and he slung all that grinding stuff all over Randy, and Randy got mad. And, and he had that little bottle of syrup.
Yeah.
And he poured that syrup in there like right when Gary went to lunch. He filled that thing full of syrup. And when Gary got back, he plugged it back up and it run about 30 seconds and he just went, boom. And never run again. He never could get it unclogged up.
Yeah.
What about
Brand new
the?
5-inch grinder.
What about the time in Gary's that?
You always said he looked like a mud puppy.
Yeah,
Mississippi mud puppy.
Yeah, looks like a Mississippi mud puppy.
Mississippi River.
Yeah, Mississippi River mud puppy. But anyway,
Oh, man.
Gary, one time he was in the shop doing some stuff, and we had where'd we get them lobsters at? We fixed his car. We put sardines and lobsters under his seat and in the on top of the air cleaner and all that stuff.
See, I was thinking it was either Steve Levitt, or it was Big Mark when Darryl McDonald went up on vacation with Big Mark.
Yeah.
And they went lobster hunting or
yeah.
catching or
When
whatever.
Steve Levitt comes on the show, we'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, and I think it was, because I remember Levitt brought the smelts in.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever
yeah.
ate smelts. Man, them things are good.
Okay.
Didn't know what they were, but they
So
were
like
good.
a tuna melt kind of deal.
No, man, he deep fried them and everything right there at the
Yeah,
shop.
they was
man. They were
good.
Great, man.
Okay.
Yeah.